Hi, Capricorns. Welcome to your monthly messages for June. I hope you enjoy them. Please let me know in the comments. You can also like and subscribe, and I'd love to have you here. So let's look into the Oracle cards, just the general messages. I'm usually not that heavy-handed with Oracle cards because I feel like one card does enough, but it just kind of felt intuitively called to draw more cards out for you. You are the magnificence of the cosmos, snuggling down into the layers of a physical being to experience a walk upon this earth. All that expanse, squeezed and gently held in earth form. Sometimes it feels tricky to hold so much power deep within, but relax and enjoy the adventure. Immersion number 4. 4 is all about stability, and it's about building, right? It can be a very kind of physical building, like not construction workers, but kind of like there's something that you're building that you're having to put a lot of physical effort into. This came up for you in the month of May, being pushed and pulled by others' expectations, swinging wildly at their whim. Who are you? How are you supposed to behave? Who is allowed to make these decisions? Great strength comes from opening up to self, for within us all there is nothing except the space to be. Growth, number 32. 32 is, 3 plus 2, 5. 5 deals with change and freedom. Perhaps the changes you need to make in order to feel more free, right? So since it's talking a lot about relationships and how you define yourself within certain systems or within certain relationships, it feels like there may be certain changes you need to make in relationships in order to feel free. And this could also just be the way that you're thinking about your relationships. It doesn't have to be anything drastic. But I do see freedom here. That's so interesting. So yeah, I had a feeling I had to pull this card out when I saw it. The temptation to step back into the known parameters is strong. It's okay to need time, stepping in and out, testing your wings. Your natural instinct will surface again, allowing your inner knowing to be trusted enough to fly your own path. Right, so you're being encouraged to kind of change your dynamics with others so that you're not being pushed and pulled by other people's expectations, so that the way that you define yourself, the way that you live your life, the decisions that you make for your life are based on your own will and going your own way and feeling good about it, not having to explain it to anyone. I love that. So let's just keep flowing with the messages. The flying into spring is actually the Fool card, which is the first card of the major arcana of the tarot deck. We have him here again. I can't remember what is that? Let's look quickly. That is card number 7. I'm using a certain spread. This is something to not do. Okay, good that I checked that. So yeah, maybe there's impulsivity this month. Maybe there's a feeling of just kind of wanting to step into something new, step into something fresh, not be afraid. Maybe challenging relationships can be something that's triggering you into these massive changes where it's kind of impulsive and there's a need to step on the brake, think things through. The root chakra, really getting grounded. I feel like safety is a big thing with the root chakra. I mean, it's talking about safety on all forms. Safety in the biggest way. Safety in a sense of security, like the things that we need, like a safe home, a safe environment, safe people that we trust, and relationships, and money, and, all of our daily needs and necessities taken care of. The red is like an alarming color, right? Like anytime an emergency exit, emergency flashlights, like all these things use the color red. Fire hydrants, fire in itself has got some red in it. So let's think of that, like in a sense, there's an urgency to you getting safe, to you feeling grounded in your body. And there are ways to achieve this spiritually, by connecting with your root chakra, by doing exercises that ground you. So you can look up grounding exercises. I was alternating a lot during the pandemic between grounding exercises and breath work. And if you're into somatic experiencing, it's also called somatic psychology, you can get a lot of information online. The dorsal vagus nerve, something to look into, breath work, grounding work. Yeah, there's so much interesting information. Polyvagal theory. Yeah, let's move forward. Just wanted to sprinkle that in there. So we're looking into what I'm doing with these readings is I'm looking back into the month of May, the messages I gave you for last month, and I'm getting context that way, so that as I'm talking about the month of June, I'm using the information that we got in the month of May to understand your situation better. If this does not apply, just take it with a grain of salt, because it's a general reading for a whole zodiac sign. So your overall message for the month is justice. Justice could be literal justice, but it doesn't have to be. It's the scales, it's the sign of Libra, it's the 7th house in the zodiac. So it deals a lot with others. The house of the self is the 1st house, which is opposite of the 7th house of Libra, and that's Aries, your opposite, not your opposite sign, the opposite sign of Libra. So themes that deal with Libra are relationships, partnerships, but also just balance and how you achieve balance, how you achieve justice, whether it's literal justice or just like we were looking at safety earlier and thinking of safety in terms of having your necessities met and feeling grounded and comfortable in your body and in your life. Justice could also be having fair balance in your relationships, fair give and take, people treating you right, getting fair payment for the work that you put in. Just like balancing those scales and making sure that everything is equitable. Okay, so let's look into some of these cards. I'm going to start out, let me put this one on the side for later. I'm going to start out with messages from May, and then we'll go back and forth. Something that you were encouraged to keep from the month of April going into May was the 8 of Swords, which is really interesting. Because 8 of Swords is kind of feeling stuck. So it may have been a situation where you needed to look back and reflect on what it is that makes you feel stuck. Whether it's certain thought processes, whether it's certain relationships. Because it's swords is mental, so a lot of it's your perspective. And the 8 of Swords in the classical deck has a woman with her hands tied, her legs tied, her eyes, covered, and she has these swords. She has a sword, I think, in her hand, possibly, I don't know, but she has all these swords and she can easily free herself. She can cut through, the ties, the things that bind her. But there's a perception that she's stuck. And because it's a mental thing, it's the way you're looking at a situation. If you challenge yourself to see it from a different perspective, you can switch that whole situation and switch the way that you're responding to it. That's really interesting. So freeing yourself, and we were talking about freedom before with the bird, and kind of reflecting between that card of the bird with the card of whatever this is. Also looks like a birdman on a hill. So yeah, needing to free yourself from other people's expectations or how people define things to you so that you can go your own way. So what you're being encouraged to take with you from the month of May into June is the Three of Coins. You actually got the World card, but I was still kind of just shuffling the cards and I wasn't intending for the card to come out yet, so I put it back in. The World would be graduating, ending things, like a completion, a closure from some experience in your life. Three of Coins is like you are committed. The things you are committed to, the things you are loyal to, keep those things. Keep those people, keep those relationships, keep those partnerships, collaborative projects that you're working on, work environments that are healthy, like anything that's working in your life that is positive, that involves other people, groups of people, is something you should hold on to and continue to foster and to continue to nurture. The thing you should need to let go of from May going into June is the Ten of Swords. Let's talk about the Ten of Swords in the many different shades that it may show up for you. It could be mental health. If I'm thinking of it in the sense of mental health, it's a way of looking at things that is now finally changing. And it's difficult. It's a difficult ending. If we're thinking about it in terms of relationships, which I feel like this might be, it's a betrayal of trust or difficult endings in relationships that you're now seeing had to dissolve. It had to happen that way, but it's bitter. It leaves a difficult, like a bitter taste in your mouth, and that's what you're being encouraged to release, like to not think about that anymore, to not spin this wheel in constant thinking about something that happened that ended up badly. Something that is, well, let's see what you were being encouraged to release in May. That was the Three of Wands. Okay, so I think I was talking about going at things at all costs, wanting something to work out no matter what the consequences are. So that you were being encouraged to release kind of a competitive edge. With the main theme of the month in June is something returning from the past. It could just be you feeling alive again, feeling connected to yourself in a way that you haven't in a while. And it's because there's been a lot of closure. There's been a lot of endings, kind of a cycle that ended, that you look back on and you maybe feel liberated, free from. There's a rebirth, and this could be with others, this could be with yourself. It's going to be different for every person, but it's basically a feeling that you're coming back to something that's making you feel alive. Something to be aware of. So in May, you had the moon. We're talking a lot about the unconscious, and I was talking about unconscious motivations and figuring out what your own motivations are. Something to be aware of in June, however, is the Emperor. So this could be people in your life that take a dominant role. That you see as authority. Maybe questioning it, maybe just kind of becoming more aware of your relationship to these people. But on the other hand, and masculinity as well, just in general, the four, well, it's card number 4. The Emperor is a card of the divine masculine. So all the ways in which the masculine shows up in our lives. It's also Aries, it's the father. The father is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a planet of restrictions and boundaries and responsibilities. And this could also just be you, yourself, taking on this role of being an emperor, of building an empire for yourself, or of becoming a leader, or of just leading your own life, right? Which would be very congruent with the message we had earlier of kind of going your own way, possibly against what other people have encouraged you to do or questioned challenged you in some way, it's like you go your own way. So maybe become aware of your own power in a situation to lead your own life and to create things and to establish yourself. 5 is focus, what to focus on. So you had the Wheel of Fortune in May, which was big, abundant changes that felt like they were out of your control. And I was kind of encouraging you to see that it may feel like it's out of your control. It's not. It's just sometimes we lack the vision of everything that's happening to us. And then we might feel like it's happening to us and not for us. It's important to remember that. Even these tough endings, like the Ten of Swords, is like a bitter situation that needed to end. You can learn from it, right? There's growing pains here. 10 of Coins, as what you should focus on, is really great. I mean, it's focusing on your own abundance. It's focusing on your career, on family, on generations to come, or like family members who are of, a younger generation. Focusing on what it is that you're creating in this world, your own prosperity, your own abundance, your connection to the world, to the earth. Being grounded, spending time in nature, spending time at home, cultivating really strong connections, getting very rooted. So it's interesting that we had this card. True abundance is an inside job. And I did feel when I was talking about the Justice card, as well as when I was talking about some other card, I don't remember now. There was a feeling here of like something that feels like it could be justice might just be about balance. Or something that could feel that it could be about safety. That was the other word I used. Might be about your necessities, just the things that you need every day, right? And so how you define abundance is something that you can figure out for yourself. Where one person might think, abundance is fame, fortune, everyone kind of defines their own success, is the way that I would put it. And abundance could be time well spent on this earth. Dedicating your time to things, to causes, to people, to relationships, to experiences that are meaningful, that are worthy. It feels like $1 million, right? Like it's like you can take what another person would define as fortune and you can translate it into experience. And that feels like a really strong message for you here, because it's an inside job, abundance. So it's something that you figure out internally. It's a spiritual deepening of your experience. I really love that. Okay. Not my reading. Something you should do more of in the month of June. So let's look at May for a second. You had the Empress. Very similar message to what I was just talking about. With the Empress, it's like connecting with your abundance, connecting with your connection to the earth. It's about creativity. It's about motherhood. It's about femininity as well. And the earth, right? Mother Earth. And so what you're being encouraged to do in June is follow your inner drive, be ambitious, go after the things that you want, be very clear and very focused and very direct and not afraid. Be passionate, be bold, try to have fun, be courageous, be fearless. Don't worry about what other people say. I think that's a very big message throughout the reading. And it seems to have followed you through May into June. But I wouldn't see it as a challenge. It's more like a blessing, maybe a blessing in disguise with the Ten of Swords. You've had some bitter experiences, and now you can see that you need to be the one who defines your own life. Right? You take the power in your life. Something to do less of. So this is an interesting distinction. Look at how similar these cards look. They're going in opposite directions, but they look so similar, right? They both have this wand in their hands. They're both kind of jumping, leaping up into the air. But let's try to separate them. And this might be challenging for me as well, because I do see them as very similar. So the Fool is about new initiation, new experiences. It's about leaping into the unknown, kind of blind faith. I don't really know what this is about. I haven't read the contract. I'm just gonna sign it, right? It's that kind of thing. Or like, I'm gonna go hitchhike through this, and I'm not saying that that's what you're literally dealing with, but that's kind of the symbolism of the Fool. It's card number 0. It's a new beginning, fresh start. So if you're being encouraged to be more like the Knight of Wands, then yes, you're being encouraged to do certain things that are adventurous. Maybe take a different approach in your life, to have more fun, to be more spontaneous, to be more of a yes person, to go after the things that you want, to not be afraid. But then, on the other hand, to not just jump into things, to not research, to research, to not be the person who doesn't research or doesn't ask the questions or just creates change for the sake of change. You're being discouraged from that. Don't be a fool, basically. Go after your aspirations. That's what it says here, the bottom word. But don't be a fool. Think things clearly. Yes, you can be spontaneous. Don't be impulsive. So what are some opportunities coming in for you in June? But remember that just because it's an opportunity doesn't mean that you have to take it or that you will. A lot of it has to do with our awareness. Sometimes we're not aware that we have options. Sometimes the options we are aware of aren't that great. And we're not always aware of what is good and what isn't good until hindsight sometimes. So it's good to have these readings. That's how I see it, because it helps you kind of navigate a situation as you're approaching it or before it happens. 3 of Wands, 6 of Cups, 7 of Wands, 9 of Coins, Empress, Ace of Swords. These cards just flew out. I was really trying to get 3. So there's a lot of messages here. We did get the Empress for May as something that you should... Was it something you should do more of? Yes. And that was that message of being connected to the earth and being creative and connecting to your own abundance. Fertility, if you're, interested in being a mother, or if you have that kind of experience in your life, then this could be motherhood. But yeah, let's look at this. So 3 of Wands. It feels like there's an opportunity to move forward with something. It almost feels like a green light after a while of waiting, or after a while of a lot of change and a lot of shifts and endings and cycles ending for you. So here, 6 of Cups, there is an emphasis on the past. It could be things from the past coming back, memories, people from your past you're connecting with, reunions, spending time with people from your childhood, family members, memories, going down memory lane, maybe a sentimentality. Sometimes I see this in a negative sense of being overly attached to a sentimental memory of something and not thinking it through in a more reasonable way. Over-emotionalism. 7 of Wands, there could be a reactivity here. So what is 7 of Wands? It's a card of defending yourself, against all odds, against a difficult situation, and that might be what's going on. It could be that, yes, there are people who are pushing and pulling you, right, in certain directions, being pushed and pulled by others' expectations, swinging wildly at their whim. How are you supposed to behave? Who is allowed to make these decisions? Maybe defending yourself, maybe just standing up and saying no, maybe feeling like there are a lot of things being placed on you, a lot of expectations, a lot of burdens, and you're having to like stand up for yourself. 9 of coins, going your own way, which we were talking about before, but it's also about independence. It's about your finances, establishing yourself more in the financial realm, and that would be supported by the Empress. There's a real financial savvy with both the Emperor and the Empress, and the Emperor showed up for you in something to be aware of in the month. So I feel like that's your own power or people who are in power in your life. Ace of Swords, getting clarity. So there's an opportunity for more clarity, for more directness and straightforwardness in your communications. And that's not to say that you aren't, right? This isn't a reflection on you. It's more like suggestions from the cards. But yeah, maybe just seeing things as they really are, or being very straightforward in your communications as well. Getting some kind of insight. So what's going to feed your soul in June? You have the King of Wands. This is a very fiery energy. It could be an individual, could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It doesn't have to be. It's not gender specific. The way I look at the cards, when it's a masculine, it's more of the drive. And when it's a feminine, it's more of like the energy that's held, that's contained. And that's just kind of a spiritual way of reading the cards. But yeah, so King of Wands, it feels like you're able to be innovative. You're able to lead a team. You're able to lead your life. You are able to be fearless. And these are things that are feeding your soul this month. Celebrating, being fearless, being passionate, going after the things that you desire. You were being really encouraged to do that with the Knight of Wands. Following your aspirations, being bold, having fun, right? Encouraging you to be a little bit more spontaneous in some way. But you see this lion here and how assured and comfortable the king is on his seat, on his throne. It feels like with the lion, it's protection. I mean, we were talking about safety at first with the root chakra. And the roots is like at the very base, right? It's like the lowest chakra, connecting us with the earth. And there's so much about the earth here in your reading, about groundedness. And so, yes, it's passionate, but it's not frivolous passion. It's a grounded passion, something that you care about, some kind of cause that you're fighting for, something that you are known for amongst the people who know you. Like, this is something this person's really concerned with, or something this person's really talking a lot about, and now they're really standing up for it, or now they're really showing up in this way and speaking up about it. So what's going to give you joy in June? We have the Queen of Coins. It says nurture at the bottom. The things that you nurture, but also nurturing yourself and self-care, pampering yourself, giving yourself a day or a weekend or whatever it is to make yourself feel good, whether it's like you enjoy camping or spending time with family and friends, or buying yourself something nice that makes you feel good. It's about connecting with yourself in a way where, again, you're taking care of your necessities, you're taking care of your needs, you're showing up for yourself day in, day out, and you're reliable and you're trustworthy. And that's a relationship that we have with ourselves as well. It's not just other people expecting us to be reliable and trustworthy. But I also see the Queen of Coins here in nature, and I really feel her grounded, present, connected with her body. We were talking a lot about somatics in the beginning, and different methods that we have to feel more grounded in our bodies. And I wonder why that's so important. I think it's because somehow relationships have been challenging, and there's a sense of needing to defend yourself or needing to speak up, either about causes that you're passionate about or about people who are kind of challenging in some way, and then having to ground and connect with the earth and redefine or just reaffirm to yourself, like, yes, this is how I see abundance. This is how I see myself being bold. It's not being careless. It's having more fun, infusing more passion. It's not necessarily like making millions of dollars. It's the experiences that I have. But it could also be, for some of you, that your sense of joy in the month of June is the amount of money that you're making, how much success you've been able to accrue. The Queen of Coins is, abundant. She has everything she wants and more. This is the ability to create that kind of abundance in your life and that kind of empire with the Emperor, the Empress, the Ten of Coins, the Queen of Coins. That's pretty much the full package. So that's possible, right? You have potential to increase your finances with the Nine of Coins, increase your independence, stand up for yourself, really figure out what abundance means for you and follow that through with the Empress and the Emperor and becoming your own leader. And as well as a leader in your community, maybe there's something that you're standing up for that you're able to kind of rally people up against. So yeah, let's see if there's anything else I need to add. I think that's pretty much all. I do want to go back to this message though, and just say it again. You are the magnificence of the cosmos, snuggling down into the layers of a physical being to experience a walk upon this earth. All that expanse, squeezed and gently held in earth form. Sometimes this feels tricky to hold so much power deep within, but relax and enjoy the adventure. Immersion, number 4. And 4 again, the Emperor. That's probably why I came back to it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the coming month. If this resonated at all, please like, share, subscribe, and let me know how this was relevant to you. Thank you for watching.